Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream. Hopefully, you had a great week. As usual, I wanted to start with a few of the updates as far as things that I've been up to this past week. The main thing was kind of focused around interaction with the NPCs and how they use the dialogues, like the set of dialogues that they would have when it comes to interacting with you. So, for example, this guy here, this is like there would be the first character that you would meet in a fall location. This is just the one location that we're gonna work on. And so this guy starts off with having a couple of dialogues. So this is a list of dialogues, and each one of the dialogues, depending on whether it has like tasks to complete. So basically, you would get to this NPC, you would interact, it would tell you to do something, and then you'd have to come back to it. At that point, the dialogue can branch. Once all the tasks are complete, um, this particular dialogue right now it's set to do not repeat. So basically, it's not going to go into this one, but it's just going to default. It's going to fall back to something that it's like an unavailable. It just says, okay, I don't have anything for you at the moment. So um, every time you interact with him again, after completing all the tasks that this NPC had, interacting with him is just going to default to this one dialogue. So let's take a look. That was kind of the main thing that took a bunch of the week up. And hey, Gitish, welcome, welcome. Hey, how you doing? Doing all right, doing all right. Hopefully you're doing okay. So you're so that was like I said, that was like the main thing that I was trying to focus on was trying to get the dialogue and interaction pieces working properly. And I think I'm almost there. And we'll jump into game just to show you that. The other thing is, and you'll see it shortly, is the sequence where you fall out of the airplane, and so I've kind of refined that a little bit just to make things work out a little bit better. So from the visual aspect of things, um, yeah, 32. I'm not sure how it goes to that. It might be just because this is like the main level, and I think Unreal would eat as much memory as it needs. I've upgraded recently to 64 gigs of RAM, and before that, I had 32, and it was still fine. I think it was at like 17. So I'm not sure if it's like it seems to be using like half of what you have. Maybe I'm just um, guessing here, but yeah. Like I've seen this actually go even higher when I was doing like something a lot more intense, like computationally intense, I believe, like building HLODs or something like that. So I've seen this gone even higher because now I have more RAM. So, those memes, I think when you see the memes with the little blob that eats up the RAM, I think those are pretty valid, I think, with Unreal. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the visual updates that I have. One thing that had bothered me for a while, and I'm not entirely sure why, but it just has, is the road. It's odd. So this is the new road. I've made this in Mixer. Great tool, as buggy as it is sometimes, but I wanted to get something uh, done that was a little bit more um, original. Well, I mean, as much as original it can be. But I felt like the initial color was pretty washed out. Well, not washed out, but it was like that concrete was just a little bit um, too faded. So I decided to just work on creating an asphalt road texture myself from in Mixer. So that was another piece of work that I did this week, kind of just and how it looks around where the junctions are trying to get the curves right in here and just trying to get the blend as close as possible to where a junction would be. So I can show you what like a four-way junction would look like, and that would be something like this. And I've kind of deleted this road. I'm still debating them. Um, we'll probably do a little bit of work in this stream to kind of link these roads together. And yeah, Gatish, so what about the steep terrain texture? So the steep terrain texture is so this one here, if this is what we're looking at. So the steep texture is the same texture that's used for like like the cliffs and all the rock pieces around here. So steep terrain texture, cliff. Hopefully it helps to blend in a little bit better. And so hopefully that was I hope that was a question. Yeah. Okay. And the other thing for kind of a town usability and navigation is this kind of creating a blueprint for the name streets, this one has it can have a stop sign or not, it can have a random tilt or not. But the main thing is getting the street name. So now I can just go like this and change the street name based on pretty cool. And let me actually not do the random tilt. So for example, this is how you would change how you would change street names. So in case one of the missions, and there's going to be a couple of them that are going to refer to street names along with the direction, but just to help you you determine what street it is on. So we have Fisher Street. Okay, well maybe it's going to be let's see, not Fisher Street, but maybe Carnash Drive in this case. I have a set of a texture from this original package that was like these road sign assets, and I can switch between them based on the UVs. Yeah, so that's a single texture with all the names. Let me see. I can show you how that is real quick, and let me see where that is. If hopefully it might be of interest to anybody. One second here. Where is the material instance? Come on. I know it's somewhere around here. All right, so basically the way the street names look like is like this. And you'll notice a name here. It's from the Decagon package, and so this is basically how it is. Let's remove some of that stuff. And it's all based on just the UVs and like the positioning of that. So basically I can get it to Poppin Street if I want to, or Virginia Drive, and I can update this texture if I so choose to. I'm probably going to do that, but for like the initial implementation, it works out pretty easily just by adjusting these things here, as you can see. And then so basically up and down, right? So if I go like this, Cornwall, Fisher Street or Morgana, Harris Drive, and I can um, I can play around with this. I should have just tried and see if I can work in increments here, but basically that's how the street signs work. So really easy. All right. So the other thing that was kind of cool is well, let's the name of the town. Here we go. So we got Lakeview Haven. I've kind of um, um, well, ChatGPT, thank you so much for suggesting some random names, and there's so Lakeview was like, okay, because there's the lake, and it's kind of common name anyways. So, there's the lake, so Lakeview. And then a couple of the other suggestions had like Haven in them. So I'm thinking, okay, let's do Lakeview Haven. So I think that sounded pretty. It's also not too out there, so to speak, and it's also kind of related to the location in a way. And I thought, okay, you know what? I can I like this, and played around in Photoshop and managed to create some like text like this, and added it to the sign. Oh, hey, Mokal, my friend. Hi, how are you? Um, so this is called just like the name of the stream. It's called On Your Own, and because yeah, literally it's a single player game, and I'm making it on my own. So I'm just a solo developer here, and it's a single player action adventure type of game. And yeah, I try to stream on the weekends, share with people the updates from past weeks, past everything that I've done. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye, namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I was talking about kind of the start of the game and also some of the additions to when you fall out of the when you jump out of the airplane. And let's take a look at that. So I'm just gonna start the game here real quick, and we'll also interact with that first character. Thank you, Mokal. Thank you so much. Um, and thank you for stopping by the stream. All right, so let's jump into campaign mode. I might just rename that to say new game or something like that. All right, so here's the airplane. There's actually some audio. Let me see if I can turn that on so you can see it, hear it. Hopefully, it's not going to be too loud. But so this is basically the start of the game, how you enter the world through this flight sequence. I'm not entirely sure why the character is outside of the plane because in my test level it's positioned perfectly inside the plane and kind of just you know holding on to the helm. All right, so as you fly in, you get to see a little bit of the world. Um, I'm still working on. There's kind of a little bit of stuttering in this area here. I'm not entirely sure why that I need to try and figure out. And yeah, so you kind of fly around and you get those positions where you can jump out of the airplane and you can look around a little bit. You don't have any control over the flight at this point, and so you're kind of flying around. And this last point is where I want to jump, and I need to add the kind of the particle effect to say like the plane is crashing and like the beeping sound and all that. So, and this is how. Oh, I forgot. All right, there we go. So this is how you kind of fall out of the airplane. All right, so let's space to get up. All right, so here we are. And unfortunately, I kind of pressed the jump at at a different point, so I didn't fall where I was supposed to. And that's actually a little bug that I need to look at it, I guess. Okay, but now once you fall out of the airplane, which should be kind of around here, um, you'll see this
Hey,
guy,
over here.
and I'm not sure if you can hear the audio.
Come on, I'm waiting.
Hoping you can hear it. Let me check
Hey, over
OBS.
here.
Let me move this to the side. So hopefully you can hear him calling you over.
Hey, over here.
Oh, hey, so let me
Come on, I'm waiting.
pause the game for. Actually, I'm gonna interact with them,
Hey, over
Omokal, and
here.
I'll answer your question. Okay, so he's gonna wave at you. He's just
Come on, I'm
positional.
waiting.
All right, so then you're gonna talk to John. I need to regenerate the audio at this point. So he's gonna give you the tablet that you're gonna use for like for like missions and so on. So once you pick up the device, if you want to talk to him again, it goes into that repeating dialogue. that he's I got nothing for you at the moment. And I'm gonna need to remove that text when you actually finish talking to him. I'm not entirely sure why I didn't remove it, but it doesn't go into um, the first dialogue. Like the initial one that you when the character gave you this tablet. So where you can like um, start your first mission basically. So yeah. Um, so that's kind of the main updates. As you saw, kind of falling out of the airplane looks a little bit more natural than before. And kind of when you impact the ground, you don't go through the ground, and so that works also better now. Yeah. Um, yeah, well, the whole game, yeah, as far as the mechanics, I do have mechanics that come from different packages on the marketplace, so I can't take credit for all of it, but I did put everything together and a lot of the heavy modifications to things that to some these packages that I got. Thank you so much, Mokal. Thank you. Happy you like it. It's a very cool process. And yeah, it's game development is it's really cool. There's a lot of stuff going into it, but yeah, it's really cool. And yeah, the other thing that I mentioned the points where you fall out of the airplane. So these guys here. So what I've added to it, it's kind of just a line trace with a sphere touching the ground. So um, basically, uh, I'm able to move this this interaction point where you jump out of the airplane. I can move this along the spline and know the point where the character is going to fall. At least, um, well, actually, yeah, because you actually fall literally by the physics. So you fall from the airplane and uh, and you hit the ground. So um, yeah, it's that's how it goes. And I wish I would have had a little bit more time to also do kind of that first mission that you get to meet with Jane. And so that's the person that you're gonna meet, across the street over here, where you like the kind of the environment that we did last week. This part here where you get to climb, and you meet her here at the top, and you're gonna get that mission to take the enemies out that are gonna be in this area. So she's gonna hand you a weapon at that point. I'm still deciding. I think it's gonna be the bow, like for the initial weapon you're gonna be handed, and and that's uh, you're going to take care of business over here. But I just didn't get to that point, unfortunately. The other part of the world that I did manage to work on is I did tell you guys a few streams back that there's going to be one of the missions in the game is to locate this one guy that he's like um, an important part of the game, like this NPC, that you need to kind of triangulate his location. He's like hiding, and the way to do that is to get to these antennas. Then are going to be one is going to be here, the other one is going to be on this end, and this location hasn't been done yet. And the other one is going to be up top here. And what I did do is kind of went about, sculpting the terrain going up to this point. So basically, just did the road going into here, and which also leads you back into town. So this is kind of like the residential, some like houses neighborhood. Yes. So that's kind of the updates from the past week. Hey man, I want to create a game like you. Oh yeah, that's it's definitely doable. It's the main thing that is needed is patience. And I can definitely, I mean, I'm not sure, I'm not a good teacher, but I can definitely point you on how to start. If you're just getting started with Unreal, I can point you to some good like YouTube channels that I have used and that helped me a lot. Um, so yeah. At least I can at least try and point you on your way to something to learn, yeah, right? Okay, because like I said, it took me years to get to this point. So it's that's what I'm saying. You have to be patient, and you have to like keep on learning, right? Okay, well, so for the rest of the stream, I was thinking of kind of working on this road section here. The way I initially had this was so this was the road going into kind of exiting one side of the map in a way. So giving the player just like if you play like Far Cry, Days Gone, which are huge inspirations for me, giving the player the idea that this area is linked to other areas in a way, so it's not like limited. You're not completely just surrounded by cliffs, so the way I had it originally was it was this road here, and you would um, you would get into town like this, and it felt like it wasn't. It felt like this was like a back road here, kind of going around like so. And I thought I might make it a little bit more direct, like it goes like straight into here, and this is just like an access road or something like that. So yeah, um, what I was thinking to do is, you know, creating the roads that would go from here onto here. Like as you can see, this one's already in place, and that would eventually end up into this what's going to be a tunnel over here. So yeah, let's get to it. Yeah, Mokal, feel free to share any of your portfolio. You can share it here, but I think it's gonna go away. Actually, I'm not sure if you can share links in chat, but yeah, definitely try and share it in Discord. I have a Discord link in the video description. So so yeah, feel free to put it there. We'll definitely check it out. All right, well, let's get to it. Let's see. Let's go into the manage mode here, and I'm gonna try and manage these blinds and try and get them to align the best as we can. And we'll play around with the way I've made this junction here. I'll show you a little bit of that if anybody's interested. So let's do that. Um, the one thing is sometimes with the spline points, they're a little tough to rotate. Like this is one thing that I ran into, and I'm not sure if it's like see how it kind of twists a little too much. And I think this is due to the amount of points that you have on a spline. I can't figure out a way to split this point. Um, there wasn't anything that was let me just move this to the side here. Just gonna close it so we don't hear the beeping for now. Um, so yeah, um, and that's what I was saying. I can't figure out a way to get this whenever you twist it to not be, like this curve that's just kind of it's a little strong, I would say. So what I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna try and also pick this point up and try and move this one as well. That should help with how that curve is. Apparently, they don't really it doesn't really work so well um, when you try to rotate them, rotate these points. So I'm gonna try and get it to something like that. We'll see. We'll see how we can work that out with this part here. Um, because what my plan is to be able to join these like this, right? And then this one should go about there. Let's sculpt terrain and see what we get. So kind of all right. We'll see how it works once we add the decals. That should help with the blending between the two roads. And also this bit here. Hey, Hisham, welcome, welcome. All right, and we'll try and place this as best as we can. See if I can pull it in a little more. Yeah, and that's the reason that it's kind of difficult if this is not perfectly straight to do one of those. So I'm gonna try and also move this one from here to here a little bit. I'll have to make some adjustments over here, but hopefully it's not gonna be too bad. Let's try and straighten this out. There we go. I think that's better. So I'm just trying to get them to be perpendicular. I think that might help quite a bit. There we go. And we'll try and move this one over there like this. All right, let's apply a mesh to this also because I think it's gonna help as well. So let me grab my road, I guess the road with the new texture on it and apply it here. There we go. And now I'm just gonna try and get them to be on the same level and kind of match the angles as well. Let's see how that does. That turned out pretty good. I think I mentioned this in the past. I'm trying to also get this one so that is as let's see if I can make it flat. Trying to use especially when it comes to these connections, as little much of an angle as possible. There we go, something like that. All right, that's pretty good. Does this one still have? Doesn't seem to be, but I think it does have a little bit of an angle. Let's try and lift this up a little bit. Because, this one's connected to other two spline points and it's not perfect. I'm just going to try and adjust it from these points. Moko, you created that blueprint for nameplates? Yeah, that blueprint I created myself. Yep. And the main part of that blueprint is the actual material that is using these street names. So that's kind of the biggest part of that is having being able to switch between the street names. And what I did is just the dynamic material so that I can like move it up and down or left to right. Okay, well, that side is almost on point. No, it wasn't too difficult to make. And now that you kind of bring this up, I'm actually I've been trying to come up with some ideas for like tutorials and such. Sometimes it's kind of difficult because a lot of the stuff has been already covered, so it's kind of hard to come up with something new. But I think that could be an interesting topic. The, like I said, the main thing is how to set up the UVs on the material. And actually, I can share that with you. I don't think it should be too much of an issue. It's just a material. I'm not sharing assets anyways. So you can probably find this anywhere. But when it comes to, if you're interested, and you can pause the video later on. So this is how the material is set up. Basically, you have a UV scale and a UV scale X and Y, and then an offset. So the scale, as you remember, has to be pretty small so that it fits in that texture. And if we look at the texture again, when you think of this, you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 by 2. So you got to think of this the scale of that based on how many items you have in here, and then the offset is gonna work in tandem with that. But this is basically how the texture coordinate would work for something like this. So hope that that helps a little bit. All right, let's try and adjust these a little bit to see if we can get them above the ground here. Sometimes getting these points, it's kind of difficult. There's no side fall off. All right, that should be pretty close. Let me try and pull this in a little more. All right, well, let's use some of these decals that I have to make that T-junction. So I'm just gonna try and adjust this here. Um, just make this straight because it was bending a little too hard. Hey Hisham, why does people use event tick when they're set timer by event, or is it the same? No, well, I mean, event tick is just gonna tick. Um, I think it's something related um, to your machine. I think somehow. Don't quote me on that, but I think with timer you actually set it so it's really that 0.2 seconds, right? And that's it's a little bit better to uh, it's a little bit easier to control. So I do use it quite a lot, but then again, it's just for particular for specific things as well. All right, so let's paint a little bit of dirt out here so we can remove some of this vegetation. Just like that. Yeah, I mean, event tech is good for everything. I use that as well. So it it really comes down to what you need it for, you know. Um, what you need a vent tick versus like a timer, right? Because they both have their own advantages. I think most everything implements a vent tick or has an event tick. Um, but then if your action does not require it to be an event tick, then yeah, a timer would be great, to just start timing on play, on begin play, just start timer and then work with that. Yeah, so Mokal, basically that X and Y offset to change, exactly, that's it. The X and Y offset is to change the position of the name, and the size is for how many rows and columns you have. Oh yeah, and that's perfect. That's perfect if you have a course. That's I think that's even better because it's hard sometimes um, to manage from what would you call it? To manage from YouTube videos. They're great, but I think a course will definitely be better to kind of explain how to learn, right? I think that's why a course is really good to have. All right, let me smooth this out a little bit because it's a little bit got a little bit too odd around here, especially with this latest change that I did. And let's try to flatten it. Doesn't really get all the way to the end here. I'm not sure why. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's the end fall off. My bad. So now I should have this one flattened out and sculpted. There we go. Okay, so we got the basic T-junction. Yeah, and thank you, Hisham. Exactly. Depends on the course as well. It definitely does. All right, well, let's play with some decals for that because this is always fun. So I'm just going to bring some of these decals, like the corners, um, to place them there. I'm just gonna try and get them to be on the rotation grid here, just like this. And now let's see how we can. I'm gonna have to do like individual placement as well, so hopefully that's gonna help. But it's already much better than what it was. So let's start with these two here, this corner. There it goes. And then try and adjust the rest. So that one there. And this one here. There. Okay. That was pretty quick. Just getting that junction in place. Hisham, did you change anything in the landscape material? It looks different. I'm not. Well, I actually changed the texture for the grass for one of the grass layers, just so that it matches with with these meshes here, right? So where the landscape begins and the mesh ends, so to speak. I just changed um, the texture for that layer. Not sure if that's what you were referring to. All right. Well, now let's also, since we're here, I'm gonna adjust this road going over to the um, um, the dam. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna delete this one and since this one's one piece, let me also move the sign, the town sign over here, kind of just the entrance of the town. Um, Oh, nice, Malcolm. MetaHuman is pretty cool, and I was able to kind of manage with it pretty well, especially if you use like the LOD sync component. That's a great addition to have. All right. Well, I'm gonna add this little parking lot. This is just kind of for like buses, kind of like a park and ride, where you bring your car, you park it, and uh, and then you kind of take the bus into, your workplace or something like that. And let's see, where do we want to place this? Gonna try and place it right here on the corner, kind of going out of town. Whoa, that was some weird rotation, maybe due to the decals. Let me just remove these for now. Oh yeah, and I know what it is. It's like pivot, set pivot offset here, so I can rotate the parking lot and place it here. And maybe, let's see, what will look better on the corner, or maybe after the sign. Let's see. I think here, I'm gonna keep it here for now, and we'll play around with it. I do like kind of playing around with the positioning of these assets. Oh, well, God, sorry. It's not a gaming company. And that's what's tough, like unfortunately, if you look at a lot of the game development companies nowadays, they've been cutting personnel quite a lot. Um, and it seems like a lot of tech companies have been doing that, unfortunately, but it's, yeah, I guess it's the nature of the work. All right, so I'm just going to follow along with the existing road that we had here to get to where the dam is. There it goes. Uh, so Hisham, what should the shader complexity color be in the engine? Um, well, so it is a very good gauge. Like for example, it's um, like let's see, can we see what I currently have? Hopefully it's not going to take too long to compile shaders. I just wanted to show you how it looks on my end. And what to look for. Um, so right now, for example, this is pretty complex for the landscape shader, and it's moving a little slow because it's just preparing shaders. So the landscape shader could be doing quite a bit better. The reason for it is that I have quite a lot of layers being painted in this small area, so that's what it is. Hey, Aman. Unreal Engine is very useless. Every project needs many times. Add projects like download. Yeah, I mean that's why there's many options out there. So I chose to go with Unreal, but you do you. You can go with Unity. You can go with Godot. There's tons of them. Yeah. So let's see, Hisham. And for example, like the water itself, the water is really if it's got transparency, is gonna be this pink color, and you don't want to go into red, right? Into all the way to white because that's takes away a lot of performance. But yeah, if it's cold, like here, it's not visible. it should be fine. You don't want it to take too much of the screen, um, as far as um, how much um, um, how much how much of the screen is being taken up by something that turns white, So in the red and the green, this is where you need to be. Like, see, it already tells you that starting from red is bad. So like I said, my terrain could have maybe one or two layers less, but yeah. So that's just to give you a little bit um, of an insight into that. All right, so let's resculpt some of this stuff and try and adjust it. This guy here, I don't need these anymore because interesting, it copied the last one that I added when it came to the fall off. All right, there we go. That's good. All right. Well, and luckily, when it did sculpt, it brought up the terrain right up to my parking lot edging, so that's good. All right, let's add the little dirt road, kind of going this back road going onto the side and coming over here. That was kind of my plan. I think having this one is a little bit better to be kind of a straight road into town instead of that little curved road that was looking kind of weird. Just didn't felt out of place for me. Sorry, Gitisha, I did notice your earlier message. How much did that rope cost? Blueprint acid cost, the one that you were using for the wires between poles, and what is his name? Actually, that is something that I made. So it's a tutorial on my channel. Um, so this part here, if you're referring to these, or are you referring to the because this is the placement is done through this IA scatter tool. That's the tool that I'm using to place these on a spline. As far as the the electric poles themselves, like kind of linking to each other, um, or you linking them manually, that's just something that I made. But was that your question, Gitish? Because yeah, like I said, I use the scatter tool to create the spline, and then on the scatter tool, I'm placing the electric pole actor that I have. So yeah, this actor would be now that I have it in place, and kind of the same works for the decals. Let's just try and place them along the road here. There we go, like that. And then for these, so Hisham, how did you learn on Unreal? So if you're asking me, I learn it by doing. Like literally, that's how I learn. It's by um, by just kind of thinking of a task and trying to do that one task. It's um, yeah, that's how I went about it. And of course, having this kind of video game plan in mind, it made things. I'm not sure if it made things easier, but I had more focus, right? Because I wanted to do these tasks. Okay, so how am I going to approach them? And that's how I learned things. Gotta go check that tutorial. Yeah, I think it's called like electrical pole or something. Um, yeah. The one thing about it is that it's pretty manual. The one thing that I did add later is the ability for these things, especially since they're on the spline, to kind of check the point in front of it, basically, right? So that it links them automatically. So for example, if I was to move this spline around here like this, they're still going to be linked together. Hopefully you can tell the wires are kind of thin, but they kind of do a line trace in front and find the next pole, so that way it can like link them all together like that. And using this I scatter tool, I can scatter them and makes things a lot easier to set up something like this. So then if I was to add another point like along the road, it would just add the extra poles and link them. With the the randomness of the cable hang and yeah, the current version that's on YouTube is just basic. So you select the next pole that you want to link into. All right, so there we go. We have this one over here. Let's try and adjust this terrain a little bit um, to so we can scatter some trees, kind of work out this little area out here, and also this road that I was talking about. Yeah, so I'm gonna remove some of this stuff. Let's paint a little bit of the stuff here. Yeah, like see, the reason I was saying that the shader for the terrain might be a little too complex is this path. I don't really use this layer anyways. And also there's two grass layers. I'm still debating whether I need both of them. So yeah, that would cut back on like, 33% almost of the shader complexity. So let's paint a little bit of this to remove some of the road vegetation. There we go. Kitesh just asking, how about a freaking massively multiplayer game that has in real life Earth dimensions? Oh wow. Um, no, 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 that's fine. And in the end, that's like I said. I said it. Um, this is kind of a community chat as much as I streaming and trying, promoting the game. So it's um, it's an awesome idea. I and I think there is like Atlantica Worlds. Not sure if they're on the stream, but they're making something uh, to um, that level as a but it's more of like a planetary system, multiple planets, like solar system kind of thing, and it's it's kind of that way. But as far as because yeah, you can pull detail, I think, from like the GIS services to to some extent, but I think the environment is gonna be pretty hard to replicate. Um, until we got Google Maps to create 3D buildings for the entire world, it's gonna be hard, right? Um, but yeah, I mean, well, and I kind of get also what you're saying as far as have it contained, like having it smaller and just have like the little dots or like little cylinders moving around and chatting with folks. That's a really I really like that idea, I have to say. Just go outside. Well, right, because I mean, depending on where you live, especially where I live, I'm barely starting to see grass now because like the snow has melted, and as you can see, it's getting a little, it's getting warmer. But up until a couple of weeks ago, there was, snow on the ground, and yeah, nobody really wanted to spend time outside. Yeah. All right, so we got some of this going over here. Let's try and adjust this terrain a little bit more. Um, Flatten. And let's see, I'm just gonna try and flatten it to this target, I would say. And this one, we're just gonna try and smooth it out around here. Over here, let's do a little bit of painting so we can paint some mulch and get some trees growing in this area. Cursores, yeah, that's awesome. All right, so then we're gonna have some trees growing around there. I'm gonna need some around here so we can kind of create a funnel type of thing, like an entrance. And let's see, where was I? Into painting. And let's just smooth this out here. And we'll use this trusty little big uh, cliff mesh over here. So Corsaris, um, how how did you do the roads? Is it a terrain layer? No, it's actually a spline. It's literally just in the terrain tool, since I'm gonna need to go into here anyways. Under manage, there's this thing called splines, and you can add splines to be like a mesh, right? So each one of these, you can add like control points, just hold down control and then you click on a spot. And I'll show you how I did that. We'll actually add another road, and I'll show you how that works. And for each one of these segments, once you add a segment, you can specify a particular mesh. And that mesh could be like a guardrail. So we'll probably um, add some guardrails at one point, at some point. Not sure if today, but um, in my case, it's just a road, a kind of a road mesh that I have this texture applied to it. Maybe keep it low poly. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Gatish. I was just, because your idea kind of started, turning some wheels in my head. Uh, but um, but yeah, that's what I would think as far as doing that is it'd be kind of I would think maybe a little bit more, low polish, kind of fun looking type of stylized kind of thing. Um, that's how I would look at it. I think that'd be pretty cool to have. All right, so this would be like the road into town. Let's just try to make this a little bit smaller here. It looks a little bit too imposing for that entrance into town. One on this side. like that. I think that fits in pretty well. And this is the little road going to that little village. See if we can flip this around like this. Yeah, this particular mesh is really awesome. Hi, Fifth Vertex. Welcome, welcome. What is your PC specs? What graphics card and CPU? So I have actually have a pretty new CPU. It's like a 12th gen i7. I think it's like is it what 12700 something like that. And I have GTX 1070. I think like pretty old. Like I have it from a friend and he had it. So I got it from him like 3, 4 years ago, and he had it for 5 years. So I think it's up in like um, one of like the earlier generations of it. Yeah, it's a really old card. All right, let's try and do some trees around here and around this corner, and we'll paint a little bit of mulch. Yeah, I mean, and right now I literally have like more than 2 dozen tabs open, a couple of these content browser open. I'm streaming, um, and yeah, so it is running pretty well, and it's very heavily unoptimized. Thank you so much for asking, but yeah, it's I still have a ways until to work on optimization for a lot of the layers. A lot of the levels don't have like HLODs built, so so yeah, there's still quite some things to do. Would RTX 4060 be enough for a UE5? Oh, of course. Like I said, I have a 1070. I think a 4060 would run twice as more than twice better than what I'm running. So totally. I wish I had a 47, 47, 4060. I think even a 2060 is equivalent to a 1070. So if I'm not mistaken. So a 4060, more than enough. All right, well, let me do a little bit of sculpting up top over here. Flatten this here. Actually, I wanted this to come a little bit lower to about there. Uh, yeah, and I think even a 1660 is like a 1070, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure. Fifth Vertex. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is a work of love. It is just it is a passion project. Definitely, definitely is. And but I thoroughly enjoy the work and the process that goes into it. It is um, it is a lot of fun to work on it. The god of GPUs. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, Probably not when I had the project at this level, but I had it running on a, HD 30. I think it was like, I'm not sure if it was like 4600 just yet. I think it must have been like what's the previous version of it. So yeah, it was definitely running it. uh, Poorly, but it was. So yeah, don't think that if it's just an older processor or something like that, that it's not gonna run Unreal, but because you'd be surprised. Now I believe, disclaimer, I'm not sure if it was Unreal Engine 5. Um, I'm not sure if it was Unreal Engine 5. It was probably 4 because like I said, it was an older, but I was definitely running it, and I was running it pretty good. Um, all right, so sculpt this here a little bit, see what we can get. And this area here as well. Let's see, can we flatten it to this point? There we go, like that. And smooth that out. Let's paint it. Yeah, so Hisham, definitely definitely the plan. Like I said, I've done a test with like building HLODs, and they work. So I did get some improvement as well from it. So that's going to be uh, some of that work to be done as well. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. And like I said, I when it's in game mode, since I have word partition, it actually runs pretty well, even the way it is at the moment. So I can only imagine that if I continue to optimize it even further, it's probably gonna do even better. So I'm kind of excited about that part as well. Um, so let's see. Unreal 5 doesn't even. Oh man, sorry about that. You better optimize to make it run with 60 frames per second on my machine. So I can only wish I'd be able to optimize it to 60 on my 1070. I mean, that's my target, or maybe, probably not 60, but at least in high 40s. But that is with Lumen as well. So if you consider Lumen, that can take away some of the performance. And but I am loving Lumen, so I do want it. I want it. So yeah. All right, let's kind of address this parking lot over here. I'm kind of jumping a little bit too much into sculpting and painting and out of it. My apologies for that. So let's try and fix this area here where the parking lot is. Hey Riley, good to see you. Good to see you. Sorry, I just noticed noticed your message. Um, Thank you so much for checking it out. Yeah, happy to have you. Lumen is weird. Yeah, it can be. It can be. Nanite is worse. Gitish, yeah, Nanite is the main reason with nanite is that it requires that what is it? Something about shadows. I can't remember what the name of it was. So it requires that in order for you to run it, and that is a performance killer. Like the um, whoopsie, that's not what I wanted to do. Pivot, set pivot here, snapped. Let's see, can we do it now? No, not really. Oh, that's flat-ish. Let's try and flatten it to this target. Oh, it needs to be a little higher, I guess. All right, that should be good enough. Set here. Um, yeah, so nanite, I don't use nanite. It is like the yeah, virtual. That's it, Hisham. Thank you so much. Virtual shadow maps. That's what it is. And that is definitely killing performance. Um, so yeah, I actually got so my 12th gen. I actually got it for a very good discount. So that's the main thing that I would suggest. Just look for the sales because there will be sales, or at least Amazon and all those. They have them on sometimes on some good discounts, especially like when they launch a new generation. Everything is discounted. All right, there we go. That's actually pretty much where it's supposed to be. See if I can bring it up just a tiny bit more. Come on. There we go. All right, so let's take care of this corner around here as well. And let's simulate some trees because I always like doing that. Yeah, loads are great, and the H loads are also great. They're also really good to have. Yeah, and that's Fifth Vertex. That's also on my end. There's, like I said, as part of the optimization is like the number of actors. This is everything that's loaded in the world. And the good thing with world partition is that in game mode, it's actually doing really well with these. Like, because if you set each one of the levels on a specific grid, then it only loads it when you're that close to it. So it does really well when it comes to that. Let's see, I believe I saved it. I think I did. All right, let's see how the trees are gonna simulate around here. Let's see what else. Auto LODs good in some cases. You know what? I found them good enough for a lot of things. Like they have there's like I'm not sure like 5 or 6 categories, Riley. as far as the LODs, and they actually, for me, they did a really good job in most of my assets. Like I would select a specific category and it would generate, four, five, six LODs, and that's perfect. Yeah, and Fifth Vertex, that's totally true. Uh, Hisham, yeah, you can definitely do LODs manually, and I can quickly show you here since we're in this. I can just select one of these meshes. So, for example, this particular mesh here, I'm not sure how many LODs. I think I could probably add an extra one, but yeah, when it comes to LODs, you can just select custom here, and what you want to do is you don't want to auto compute LOD distances. And you can also always just say, you can set the reduction settings and let me see, where was that? Screen size. Yeah, so how far away is it gonna switch to a next LOD? So it's not distance, but it's screen size. So how much room is taking up on the screen. And as you can see, where is it? The current screen size. See, so this is 0.548. So it switched to LOD2. And then as you get closer, it goes to LOD0, right? Because like the screen size is above zero point 0.9. Below zero point 0.9, LOD1, below zero point 0.6, I believe maybe LOD2, and so on. So that's how you would do it. Okay, well, I mean, the trees came into got generated pretty nicely. There's the sign, welcome to the town. And the other thing that I wanted to do is move this one with the electrical poles to be on the proper line here. So let's actually put it on this street here. And this one over here. This guy is gonna go around here, just trying to follow the road. Is it not above ground yet? Apparently not. Oops, actually it's not that steep. I was kind of thinking it's a really steep incline, but I can easily adjust that. All right, let's try and place this above ground as well. And this one as well. I'm just gonna delete this point here, and then place that over there. There we go. So now we got um, some telegraph poles going around here. I think this one is still below ground. There we go. There's a bunch of big rocks on that area. I guess I need to resimulate the rocks as well. And this one is below ground. Let's try and place them along the road. Yeah, so basically the screen size is, well, don't think of as the screen size as the distance because it literally means the screen size. But you can, you can relate to it as a distance, I would guess. But yeah. Um, because Gitish, I also get what Hisham is saying, like um, an object is really small, like when you look at it, so it's probably far away. Um, All right, there's some electrical poles, growing through the buildings here. So let's try and just position them along the road a little bit better. And what I'll do, I'll also re-simulate the rocks, hoping it's gonna help them or help position them a little bit better. There we go. So this one almost follows the road as it should. There we go. But I think, did I just get one end under the road? This one here? There we go. Perfect. Oh, and now there's, nope, that's good. Let's just lift it up a little bit. Oh, and this is sometimes a little bit of an issue when these kind of detect one another, not the proper way here, but let's see. Can we adjust this spline? There's one point. Sometimes I wish kind of the color coding for these would be a little bit easier to read. I guess, white is okay-ish, but sometimes if it's like against a bright background, let me go into unlit mode. That should help. And I'm also thinking what I'll do here, I might just split this into two and have kind of a linkage going on at this street corner. Uh, yeah, that's true also with the transition fit vertex. That's definitely true. And to anybody that's interested, it's pretty easy to go into level of detail coloration and just view the mesh LODs. So for me, this is kind of how it looks at the moment. When it comes to the mesh LODs, you'll see that there's still some things that don't have LODs, like some of these buildings here. Um, yeah, so because these are just made. I mean, these from the get-go, they're pretty low poly anyways, but uh, could benefit from LODs as well. And some of them are merged as well. As you can see, like the ones back here where the chemical factory is, they all have LODs. All the vegetation has LODs. The landscapes not so much. And everything so like right now, these are rendered, you can see them. But then once you get to this point, these are the landscape grasses no longer get rendered. Yeah, there's still definitely some to do as well. Yeah. There's always performance. That's the one thing that is constant. There's always performance improvements that can be done and should be done. Let's see. Maybe I'll move this onto this side of the road. I think usually they come on this side. So what I'll try and address this by moving some of these to the other side. Let's see how that's gonna look. So I got this point here. Where's the next point? It's gonna be over here. Can we skip this to be on this side? Will it be, there's kind of, some of these are gonna be on, right on the road. So can we make it like this? Will that break it? Not so much. I think that could potentially work. like that. Okay, that's a good experiment, I guess. Yeah, I was trying to get him to kind of cross the road, but I'm not entirely, 100% sure about that. So I think it's going to be good here. I'm just going to need to adjust because you can see, so what I do is I automatically link into the next pole based on the spline. But right now, for this particular one is what's causing me a little bit of grief here. So maybe I can try and move this one onto the other side of the road. Let's see, can we do that? So it'd be like so. I think that might help. Refresh. Still links into this one, which is not so much as an issue because they don't really crisscross as much, like the electrical cables. So, hey, Levin, welcome, welcome. Um, Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Thank you so much for the suggestion. It's just a matter of applying that um, to the spline itself. Like when it comes to these electrical poles, or like how are they gonna be linked easier, I guess. So yeah, thank you so much for commenting, Levin. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And Helion, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Good to have you here. And yeah, so this is kind of a little bit of a, because this is what the pole is doing is just looking in front of it at a certain angle. And I guess it's detecting this one here for whatever reason. Um, so for now, I'm gonna leave them the way they are, like this, and I'll try and adjust them because in the end, I'm gonna end up collapsing this into its individual actors anyways. And even though I was able to publish the game, to kind of make a build of the game without it, without collapsing it to an actor. So I'm guessing it could work as well. And linking the cables like this does give a little bit of variety over here, which is not necessarily a bad thing aside from this one being in the road. Map building definitely is. I have to say it definitely is. It is a lot of fun. Um, and yeah, if you also get something that the player can navigate and have a purpose in doing so, even better. All right, well, let's see. So yeah, I'm gonna try and kind of play around with this, probably after the stream, trying to think if I want to. I'm gonna try doing this. So I'm going to delete some of these points and kind of end that right here. So that way I'm not kind of crossing the road with both of them, similar to how I'm doing with the roads meshes, right? I'm not overlapping one on top of the other. Like I have this long one and then these two pieces. So that way. Oh, you're making maps in Blender. Oh, that's pretty cool too. I am comfortable with Blender, but I've never used it that way, I have to be honest. All right, where is the last point? Oh, it was way over here. So let's bring one more to about there. Oops, that's a little too much. think that's better. I want to extend this out, so there we go. And then for this one, let's try and refresh it. And now we got a proper linkage between these. All right, that's pretty good. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, 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 totally, totally. That's what that Discord is for. Looking forward to input. Um, oh, I got you. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. To me is like I'm relying on all these tools that some of them are existing, some of them I've built, some of them I've edited from from the original developers. All right, let me see. How big is this? Oh, that's why it was taking this long. Let's see, the rock's full. Oh no, it's actually in the right area, so that's good. I thought it was covering a little bit more than I wanted it to simulate rocks on. Kind of is. I can make it a little smaller. All right, so hopefully it's not going to take too long for this simulation either. Whoops, I went a little too far with the movement. All right, so we got the large rocks here. Let's resimulate so we can remove some of them from the road. Where was the thing for it here? Yeah, and that's I think the biggest thing that I was never able to, because I tried it once, I was never able to figure out it with Blender is the terrain. And so yeah, I usually just do like individual assets in Blender and then just place them on in Unreal. I think at least visually, I find it more pleasing, more I guess to use it in Blender. Oh, sorry, in Unreal. Yeah. All right. So now to add kind of this little dirt road back here, let's do it. So again with the splines, let's start from here to there, to there, and just kind of twist it around right into here. Kind of goes back behind this warehouse. There's going to be a couple more like of those small shacks back there. So let's select the control points, make it a little smaller. And the asset for it is going to be the one for this dirt road over here. Because it's basically the same road, texture, the road mesh, but it's got different textures to it, or different materials, sorry. So this one, and just override materials. And let's check this out again, where the materials are at. Let's use them here. Segments. Shoot, I forgot to place the mesh. So let's get these ones here. And here's our mesh. There we go. do some sculpting. There, that's pretty good. Now, I got lucky that I actually made this one uh, end over there because I needed to have one point over here so I can control the side offset. Okay, sorry, I didn't see the last messages, guys. Uh, oh, everything is static, yeah. Oh, that's nice. And that's another thing, like to me was a little bit too complex to deal with that kind of a size of scenes exported from Blender. All right, perfect. So now this one here I can set its fall off on the what side? Left side. There we go. And I'm hoping that now this one is gonna blend right in. There we go, almost where it's supposed to be. I think this one just has a slight angle. So there we go, just like that. Sweet, that's pretty good. So we got this little road going back there. Let's do some last painting here. Along there. All right, so we'll need to resimulate some of these things. Um, yeah, and even that's how I do it. Thank you so much for commenting. Is that um, but sometimes I have like angles going on. Like for example here, right? This road kind of comes from up there. You can see there's like a little bit of an issue here that I need to fix. But so that these were ones I have to like adjust them to that for a little bit. Yeah. C3D, my issue with the current version of Unit 5 is the lack of terrain. Oh, that is not, I think that's everybody's issue. And that was the main thing once I moved to UE5. I'm like, I'm not, probably not the first thing, but where is tessellation? Like I had it working in, Unreal Engine 4 and it was like looking really, really good. And then I moved to 5 and I'm no more tessellation. Oh God, what's going on? So, so yeah, that was a slight little bit frustration at the time. But I'm trying to make do without it. But yeah. But I totally get it. I feel the same way. I'm not sure why. It probably was related to nanite somehow. I think that's um, maybe that's what killed it, or like that uh, version of it. So I think what was a little frustrating is that they didn't have anything going on for it. Like, well, there's no more tessellation, period. And we'll try and do something about it. Not sure if we can, but I think that was a little bit of um, a maybe unplanned kind of thing. Not sure, but and now we got, I think, what is it, landscape nanite or something, which is great on performance, is what I'm hearing. We'll see where it goes from here, I guess. Um, you have no clue how bad it is in Unity. You need to be grateful for what you have in Unreal. And you know, I hate the fact that sometimes you're down to picking the better choices out of um, or like looking at okay, well he's not as bad as the other guy, or like not as bad as this other thing, and I hate making a choice like that. Uh, to me, it's also like a thing where it comes to time, right? And um, I didn't get to spend too much time in Unity. With the latest changes that they did, and I brought this up about um, the I think it's called Road to Tarkov. Um, the developer, like when they made the last change to their pricing thing, he, up and left, he moved his everything to Godot. So I was like, props, much respect to this guy. Um, yeah, Unity devs, our engine doesn't love us and doesn't really love this dev. I think it's more of a corporate type of thing when it comes to Unity, and the decisions are not made by developers, or by when it comes to doing this kind of stuff. It's made by shareholders, and they usually screw over people. So Escape, no, is it Escape from Tarkov? Now you kind of got me thinking. Escape from Tarkov. Uh, no, I don't think it's this one because it's not out. It's Road to, let me see. Road to Vostok. That's what it is. Road to Road to Vostok. That's what the game is. Yeah. Yes, yes, that's exactly it. That's so the guy, like, just when they changed their pricing thing, he was just, he had it, and he's like, okay, screw you guys, I'm going home, and he went to Godot, and he managed to transfer everything over there. So that's awesome. Said you can export to web on Unreal Engine. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Hey, Serhi, welcome. Torque 3D. Oh, wow, I haven't heard of that in a while. Perfect. Glad to have you. Yeah, and I think and that's another thing. I think he does it full time, so which is great if you can do that, because I think he's got a pretty active like Patreon page and that kind of stuff. So um, that's cool. If you can do that, awesome. So it's always good when you can do that, full time, and not have to worry about, like, mortgage payment and heating bills and food and, like having to have a day job to cover for that. Um, all right, so let's see. Let's resimulate the trees here, and we'll probably end on this note for today's stream, just to get this thing kind of linked into here. and we'll get the rocks going as well. All right, so there's the trees. They're looking pretty good on these ridges. Actually, I was hoping there'd be a little bit more spawning on top of here. Let me do this real quick. Um, Try and paint a little bit more of the mulch layer. And let's resimulate this stuff here. There we go, that's a little bit better. And let's get rid of these rocks going in the road. And also I'm gonna try and paint a little bit more around here. Some mulch, my apologies. I was hoping that I didn't forget about that, but I guess I did. And that can also be placed with that scatter tool. Yeah, and it does. It does. That's the thing. Like, I think he helped put Godot on a bigger audience as well because he already has like a really big following, and people got more exposure to Godot, which is cool. All right, so let's resimulate the rocks here. But yeah, he's making really good use of Godot. I was like, I looked at it and I was thinking, oh, this is Unity, but no, it's Godot. I think because I didn't I looked at a demo a while back, and I kind of knew from a while even you know past time that he was using Unity, but I didn't realize that what he had was in Godot. So I'm like, wow, this is really awesome. All right, so for more um, procedural type placement, let's just use this little tool here. There we go. All right, cool. Well, there's the entrance to town, and I'm not gonna let this go. I just need to um, adjust these little decals here. There we go. And yeah, this is what I was mentioning with a little bit of rotation here, just like this. So that one's almost fixed. I think it could just, if I smooth it out, it should uh, it should help, I think, maybe. I think it maybe in 5.2 is where it added a little bit of like odd stuff when it came to the terrain. Hopefully it's fixed in 5.4, but I've noticed some trouble with the sculpting when it comes to the splines. There we go. I'm not sure why this one is having a little fit here, but yeah, that should be a simple fix. All right, well, there we go. This one is going to need to be pushed further back a little bit because it is being sculpted by the spline. But there we go, the entrance to town. So yeah, Yeah, and I think he made all the animations and models himself. Yeah, he did. I think he mentioned that on his social media stuff. The gravity method to add some. Oh yeah. It definitely is, and I think there's like a free plugin that can do that. But um, it's also kind of you know, you got to be careful with collisions, because you don't want to. And of course, with the number of actors and all that. So far, everything that I place with like the procedural tools when it comes to like rocks and that kind of stuff. So I'm probably going to keep it like that. But yeah, I've seen some like Will Foucher, I believe. He just did a tutorial on like this plugin that is, I believe, free for like the gravity. I think it's like a gravity plugin. I can't remember the name of it, but even yeah, um, that's definitely it. And you can supply a bunch of the meshes like the rocks and just start placing them. But once you his example was like, okay, this is just going to be for a cinematic thing. It's not going to be for a game thing. But yeah, it definitely works. I mean, it's got a really good result. So yeah, that's it, Leon. Well, all right, guys. So we're coming up to 2 hours, which I usually try to keep the streams at. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I I hope to have even more for tomorrow. And actually, to folks that joined late, I'm not sure if you saw the initial updates. So let's actually just jump into game mode because I wanted to share this with you as far as and now you're going to notice some poor performance when it comes to the initial start of the game. Um, but let me load into here. Because I wanted to share like the interaction with the NPC and how that works. Once you get because there's like interactions with the NPCs, and they give you like a mission and then you interact with them again, and they're supposed to just give you like some kind of like a you know s- basic message. Okay, I'm done with you. I don't need to talk to you anymore, or something like that. And I wanted to show you what I did for that. So this is like depending on your jump out of the airplane choice of location. So this is where you're going to interact with this first guy, basically. And this is like the location that I have this closer to town. That would be like the first location in the game, or at least the first implemented location in the game. And as you can see, if you look at the number of actors, that's what the world partition is doing. I had like 28,000 actors, and the world partition is taking care of just the right amount, just the right actors to load when, depending on, what grid they're on. All right, so let me be careful here where I need to jump because there's going to be like an interaction little message, and the plane is going to slow down. Apologies for the jerkiness of the plane. I still haven't completed the spline itself. So let's see. This is how it looks when you jump out of the airplane. You fall down. And you're still falling. Okay, I think I jumped a little late, so I think I'm still in a falling mode. I don't think it's settled. Oh man, physics. I tell you, as much as I like to keep them simple, it's it's not that didn't really work out. But basically, what's gonna happen once you fall? So you're gonna fall to this location here. So let me start the game and see where the start without being in like just being in like a development mode instead of being like starting the game from scratch. And let me see where the start position is at. Um, is this one? It's over here. Okay, let me just move it onto next, closer to where uh, my first fall location is going to be. So that way I can show you how the NPC behaves at the beginning of the game. All right, so let's start this. And it's gonna load the level. All right, so basically what's gonna happen, and I guess I'm wrong. So if it was at the start of the game, unfortunately this is not the start of the game. So this guy would wave at you and call you over, basically. And once you get up to him, you're gonna start talking, and I still have to regenerate the audio and for the dialogue. So he's gonna hand you this little tablet that you're gonna use to find out missions and this basic inventory kind of details. So now the next location is gonna be, well, it's not the proper location, but what I wanted to show is the next time you interact with this guy, he's just gonna default to this. Well, I got nothing for you anymore, and I need to fix the text not being removed from the screen. But yeah, every time you're gonna go and try to interact with him, he's gonna tell you this because that was his spiel. He just handed you the tablet, and you end up with the tablet. Oh yeah, yeah. So that's the thing. Um, so I ended up with the tablet. So he handed me the tablet, and now I can like look at it and view my inventory, view the missions, and basically kind of, let's say the game starts, right? I mean, it started, but you start getting missions. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys, especially if you joined a little later. But yeah, all right. So that brings us to 2 hours, I think, on the dot, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, an hour and 58 minutes. So with that said, thank you guys so much for stopping by. And again, I hope you have a great week coming up, and I will see you next week. All right, take care, all. Thanks again. Bye.